You're listening to Nightbreed on Inspire Radio, and that was a band we had on the show a few weeks back, Burial Pit. Their album Subhuman Scum is out now, and taken from it, that was Priest. Another band we had on a few weeks back was Psychonaut. We spoke to Mark back then, but tonight we got the pleasure of speaking to the bass player Simon. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Mate, how are you?
Yeah, good man, good. So back in 2008, you joined Psychonaut. How did that come about?
So I'm pretty sure, because it's all very hazy to me, but I think Mark asked me to join Sabotage first.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he was putting together the Black Sabbath thing, and then he, he's like, do you want to come and jam on some Black Sabbath? I said, yeah, that'd be great. And then somehow I ended up in the jam room with Seb and Mark, and we were playing Psychonaut. So yeah, it just kind of happened organically, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. So other than Sabbath, you guys have played a few cover shows recently. Is there any band that you find more fun to cover than any other?
Yeah, they're all different. So we've got this Motorhead one coming up as well, because so we're doing this Motorhead tribute, and that's really just fun to sit back and just play with a pick and just play just balls out rock and roll.
Yeah,
and that's actually really good fun. Sabbath is fun on the bass and stuff, because you got a bit more room to play with and put in some licks and stuff like that. But they're both fun in their own different way, and I'm singing a couple of the Motorhead songs at the gig, so that's different as well for me. I'm not really a singer, but I can try and scream my way through some Motorhead tracks as well. So yeah,
awesome. Another band you're playing, Maverick, or does it change to Maverick Firebird? Is that right?
Yeah, it's Maverick Firebird, because there's like a million Mavericks out there.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, good.
So I think we had a distro company, and they're like, yeah, that's cool that you're called Maverick. We like the music, but you kind of need to change your name, because there's like a million of them. So we're like, that's a good point. So yeah, it's Maverick Firebird now.
Cool.
Because the EP was called Firebird, and we're like, oh, what's another name we can put on the end of Maverick? And we were just like, oh, let's call it Maverick Firebird. And then see, the album then becomes a self-titled album. See, no reprinting needed.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, Maverick Firebird's got sort of a hard 70s rock kind of sound. Is that what you guys planned to do from the outset with that band?
Well, once again, I was asked by Craig, the singer, and he's like, do you want to come down and have a jam? And he was well into the 70s stuff. He's a big Lynyrd Skynyrd fan, and so yeah, it was well into the 70s vein, and that suits me. I like that kind of music as well. So yeah, it was all established before I got there. Well, at least the bones were, and then I just kind of put some bass lines to it, and then yeah, that's sort of how that band started, I guess.
All right, cool. As much as I'm mostly personally like a black death metal kind of guy, your stuff and bands of that genre, they're heaps of fun. Like, it's hard to not get into it. What is it about you guys that you love that sound?
Which band are you talking about? Are you talking about Maverick?
Yeah, sorry, mate, Maverick. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the question again?
What is it about that sort of 70s sound that you guys all into?
I think like the production of those albums was really cool, and there was a bit of room for experimentation as well in those those 70s albums. They all had great singers, they all played really well. It wasn't just rock as well. There's a lot of blues influence in there. There's a lot of funk influence in some of those bands. The production sounds great. The gear, it's all this vintage gear. It just sounds really cool. And but the main thing on those albums is all of those big 70s bands, they could all play. They were amazing musicians.
Yeah.
And tight bands, like it's a bit different now in studios and stuff when you're bands, and you're multi-tracking everything, and you're coming in, you're doing your overdubs and stuff. I mean, they did that as well, but the core of the band, all those 70s bands, was they were just hot players and just amazing. They were an amazing band all together. That's all they did. They kind of rehearsed and they wanted to get it as sounding as good as they can, and it sort of had this organic feel to it, I think.
Yeah, it definitely shows the finished product and the live recordings and stuff. You can tell, yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even if you want to look at bands like ACDC, I mean that rhythm section. Phil Rudd is one of my favorite drummers, and he does play the straight eighth rock beat, but no one plays it like him, if that makes sense. He's just got this really good time and this good groove, and that always makes the rhythm section sound tight and groovy as well.
Yeah, cool. So the album, the self-titled album, came out. The EP came out a few years ago now, 2017. How was the recording process on that one?
Yeah, that was awesome. We did it with a mate Kenny from Kenny Watt Studios, and he's a guy who is kind of into the same. He's into the same sort of 70s stuff as us, and had all this awesome gear, and it was just fun to do the album with him. And the bass was really, really easy to record. Like there was nothing for me to worry about. It was just all set up. We got this good sound. Well, Kenny got this good sound for me, really. And I just got to play, and that was great. I didn't really have to think about anything else. There was tons of guitars that went over it, and I mean that's Mark Devanimo's, because he was the guitarist on that album. And Mark, being the crazy scientist guy that he is, had all these cool guitar ideas, and but the album was really it was a really enjoyable experience, I guess, to say. Out of everything, it was just a fun album to make, and record.
Yeah, awesome. Are there any plans for future recordings?
Yeah, definitely. So both bands, Psychonaut and Maverick Firebird, are about halfway through their second. Psychonaut's third, Maverick's second album. So yeah, we're all working hard on doing some new recordings. Mark's, I'd say he's got all the ideas in there. He's just like placing them together, kind of thing. And Seb's always working really, really hard on his drum bits. And Maverick is we kind of write all together, sort of thing. So someone will bring in a riff and then we'll jam it out, because the 70s sort of rock thing has got that jammy sort of feel. So we always are like writing together. There's no like one person going away and tinkering it with on their own, because everyone's got a different sort of feel. And when you get it in the studio, rehearsal space, everyone has to kind of put their own feel to it and their own ideas, and that's how that music kind of comes about.
Yeah,
a bit
cool.
Different.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. So big gig this weekend, Gargantua. It's this Friday. A great lineup of high voltage rock bands, and you're pulling double duties, playing in Psychonaut and Maverick Firebird. What can people look forward to?
It's cool. It's a cool gig, and it's a cool idea because it's kind of like a crossover sort of thing. Like in Perth, there's such a strong metal scene, and all the bands kind of are all there supporting each other, doing gigs together, and that's a really cool scene there. It's really I don't know what the word would be now. It's just I had it and then it kind of left me.
Supportive of each other, is that where you're going for?
Yeah, I guess so. But there's a scene there, and the rock scene in Perth is kind of a bit wishy-washy. It kind of had a bit of a standard about 10 years ago, and now all these rock bands kind of don't always play together. There's not like a scene, and if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think there's one starting to come back, which is really exciting. So this gig is like putting some metal bands on, putting some rock bands on, and so people who both like rock and metal can go and check out, all of these bands, and maybe see some bands that they've never heard of before or seen before, and see if they like it,
Yeah, that's cool. We're going to hear Free from the Firebird recording. Is there anything you want to add before we get into it?
I hope you like it.
I like it, man, so I'm sure everyone else will. God, thanks for your time, man.
No, thank you.